you want no more of exactly?
The kind that is coerced, the kind that produces, shall we say, it presupposes and also produces exploitation, the kind that makes us go to jobs that are no longer necessary, the kind that makes us produce goods that are no longer valuable, the kind that keeps us from deciding what we want to be when we grow up. That is to say, the kind of jobs that keep us from the leisure time that we all have earned and deserve. So I guess that covers a whole lot of jobs, a whole lot of occupations. We don't have to work as hard as we do, but we keep doing it. So my question in the book was, all right, why is that? What's going on here? Quite apart from you have to work to make a living, because that part of the equation in the job market has fallen apart. Everybody works, but nobody can actually piece together a living anymore. The book really is like a way of asking ourselves, why is it that we want to work, and what could we do to pry ourselves apart from that desire?
Now, I'm sure you've heard the objection. Here you are. You teach. You seem to like teaching. You write books. You really don't live your example. What do you say to that?
Thank you. I don't know. Where am I going to go with that? I work hard, okay? When I teach, I'm working hard. But I don't teach that often. I teach 2 days a week. That's the luxury of the teaching schedule at Rutgers, where I teach. But when I'm not doing that kind of work, I'm sitting at a keyboard and tapping away, typing. As you know, but as you do as well. So I'm not saying we all need to have that kind of drive or that kind of ambition or that kind of purpose. I don't want everybody to have some almost fetishistic attachment to writing like I do. That's not the point. The point is to let people decide what they want to be. I mean, to give them enough time to themselves to decide for themselves what they're going to do for the next few hours or for the next few days. That's really the point. Yeah, am I in the parlance of today? Am I privileged? Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I have a tenured job at Rutgers University. So what? I mean, I'm speaking for myself, who cannot retire because retirement account is not sufficient. But I'm also speaking, I think, for the people who can't make ends meet, who work their asses off, but don't have a living wage.
Well, it seems that you have it in more for the job than work.
Yeah, I guess, what we used to call alienated labor. Sure. Yeah. The way that us academic types approach work is typically to say, okay, this is alienated labor, and this is really bad for us, and what do we do about it? Most of my colleagues, I would guess, until very recently, actually, with the exception now becoming the rule, like Kathy Weeks, would say, well, what we need to do is make work meaningful. And to me, that's a dead end. That's going back to the marks of 1842, 43, 44, something like that. And I'm just not interested in that. I think it's much more interesting to think about what it would mean after work, like when work is not something that you have to do every day for 8 hours a day. And maybe that's what you're getting at when you differentiate the job from work. I don't know. I think, however, now that I think of it, I think the assumption embedded in your question, the job versus work, is the same kind of distinction that Hannah Arendt tried to make in The Human Condition, the great book of 1958, the Meditation on Marx, Meditation on Work, where she made the distinction between work, real work, meaningful work, and labor, the spastic movement of people who weren't thinking and creating while they were on the job. They were just a set of metabolisms.
Well, it's like a sculptor versus Charlie Chaplin in the assembly line.
Yeah, okay, sure. And Chaplin, I think, shared in exactly that, kind of distinction. And to me, the hell with meaningful work, too. We can't all get there, but at least let us sound good. That's not the point. The point is that we've reached a stage of civilization where this is eminently possible and quite necessary as well, if we're not going to drive each other crazy and produce, way too many things that we don't want or need.
You give the example of downloading things for free, the costless reproduction of intellectual property products. Yet those all depend upon huge infrastructures of computer servers and fiber optics and lots and lots of electricity powered by typically fossil fuels. So this theoretical abundance we have nonetheless depends upon this compulsion to work, doesn't it?
Yeah. But then, okay, then the question becomes, where does the compulsion to work come from? Now, you could say, as Marx he didn't say this, you could say the compulsion to work is externally imposed, that because the market power or the social power of money and capital is greater than the social power of the proletarian, that the proletarian is compelled to work. Or you could say with Freud that the compulsion to work is something that it is an inherent, intrinsic part of human nature. I'm more inclined to the Freudian version of it, but I think Marx was at least ambiguous enough to recognize it. So, now, I guess the question for you would be then, all right, if that's all true, if all this infrastructure, these servers and these towers and this electricity are going into the creation and the distribution of information that seems to us to be free of charge, how come? What happened here? Why is all this infrastructure suddenly losing or has lost its value? That would be my question. And that's why I try to end on an apocalyptic note of, we're living through the perfection of capitalism. We're living through the end of capitalism because it's the perfection of capitalism.
These servers are owned and run by the likes of Google and Amazon and Apple, who are making money on these things. So I don't see that law has been repealed yet.
I don't either. I'm not saying nobody's making money. I'm saying that you and I can get information for free. Why is that? If these people are making money, these corporations, I don't want to go down that road, but yes, how come? What has happened here? And it seems to me that one of the things that's happened here is that the people who actually produce and provide the information, not the corporations that distribute it, the people who produce and provide the information, their labor has become, it is tending towards zero. The Pulitzer Prize winning journalist from, San Jose, has to get out of journalism because he can't make a living doing it. Adjunct professors now dominate my profession, the teaching of whatever, social sciences, history, humanities, wherever you want to go. How come? Why is the value of this labor time so close to zero? I know a lot of people. You know a lot of people that teach 11 courses a year, like 4 load semester to semester, and then they teach 3 sessions in the summer. These are adjunct professors, and they're making roughly $30,000 a year, and there's no benefits attached, and there's no pension fund involved either. And what does that tell us about the value of intellectual work? Quite apart from the money that Google and Apple and all these people are making. Again, sorry, not people, corporations.
Corporations are people too.
Well, they certainly are now. Yes. In view of Citizens United, and in the view of one of my students who's doing an honors thesis, Bellotti versus First National Bank of Boston is really the key. That's a 1978 decision that opened the door to the Citizens United decision. I think he's right.
Since we're intellectuals and writers, we're kind of used to looking at these fields because they're very familiar to us. But the world of food provision, people make clothes, people make pharmaceuticals. This has not yet been revolutionized into the same kind of costlessness of intellectual production it seems to be attending.
Food? What do you say? Food?
Yeah, food, clothing, all the necessities of life and all the baubles, the gadgets that make everything possible.
I don't know about that. It seems to me that the consistent trend from the early 20th century into our own time is that the cost of food, at least as a proportion of familial budgets, has been declining. I think clothing you can observe the same trends there. Now, does that mean that we've outsourced the production of these things? Yeah. But I don't think you can say because it's outsourced, that's why the value of the labor time involved is declining. It's not simply that. I'm not sure I understand the import of your question. I mean, yeah, food, clothing, shelter, but jobs have been displaced in all three places, and the costs of producing all three have also declined. So maybe you could explain what the...
Who will provide the necessities of life without the compulsion to work?
Well, that reminds me of a question that you and I have heard before. Who's going to pick up the garbage after the revolution? I don't think that's a problem. I'll tell you why. My students get kind of agitated and sometimes even angry when I lay out this argument for a universal basic income and for the end of work. As to say, enough already, let's stop. And what they say is that, well, what happens to our initiative? What happens to our drive to excel or to succeed? What if I want to do a startup? And my response is, well, with a universal basic income of, this is just an arbitrary sum of, say, $40,000, fine. If you want to do a startup, take the $40,000 and invest it in your own company. Do what you want. After you're done with your 40,000 UPI, that seems to me another issue. Now, to go back to the compulsion to work, I know how thoroughly Freudian you are, so I can speak this way.
Feel free. We're 10 feet away from the complete works of Freud here.
I know. I've seen them. Look, the compulsion to work is really the urge to freedom. That is to try to extricate ourselves from the domination of objects and the external world. What we're trying to do is, if you want to go back to Sandor Ferenczi, it's to reproduce the condition of infantile omnipotence. So the compulsion to work is just a way for us to express our ineradicable desire for freedom. We want to be free of external constraints, but also external determinants. That's